Welcome to Broadcast Brains, SEMPTY 2017. I'm James Taylor from Videocraft, and for this session we'll be talking with Ian Puszet from Avid. Ian, thanks for coming on board today.
Well, thank you for inviting me. It's a lovely show and lots of people to see, and it's a great place to do business.
Now, what we wanted to really cover about today is in this little world at the moment, we're not really talking about necessarily the products. I think the most important thing is after you've bought the best product, how do we go and get the best support behind it? And Ian, tell us a little bit more about your role at Avid and how you can, your tasks in helping our clients get the best results they are after.
Yeah, I mean, Avid offers a wide range of SLAs for the different spectrum of customers it looks after, because obviously we have customers who are the individual user working at home through to the media enterprise organisation like the ABCs of this world. And fundamentally, each person is looking for the same description of support, but they're actually at the same time requiring different levels of support. Avid supplies a network of infrastructure that means we contact 24/7, all the way from tier 1, level 1 reps up to the level 3 reps in engineering itself. So it means that the simple problems can be fixed and can be triaged very quickly, any time of day, any day of the week, including things like Christmas Day, Eid, those items as well. But they can be escalated if necessary at the same time. So we have true 24/7 coverage both by phones and electronically.
And most importantly, this level of support is available for everyone. So with the right level of support that you can have from Avid, you can be a one-man band and you can have that same level of support, if you like, as what you would have with a television network, and you can be sure to get the level of support you need too.
Yeah, we, as I alluded to, there are different requirements for different markets. So, the individual user is more used to working these days in forums and chat rooms and stuff like that. So Avid has those, but then when something becomes particularly complex, you can still get through to an individual who may be geographically based with that person, or maybe geographically based elsewhere. We've got support engineers in Australia, but we also have support engineers in Japan, Philippines, so all over the world. So the individual user will probably use a forum, but have the ability to jump to an individual, whereas the media enterprise account will probably use either our electronic system, a portal, or will call in straight away, and they'll be met with a qualified engineer picking that case up and dealing with it. And they're all prioritized as well, so the customer gets to choose their priority. So if it's something they say, look, it can wait, goes in at lower priority, still goes to a qualified engineer, but lower on their queue. If it's a high priority, it's picked up straight away and escalated, and appropriate teams put together. So that there are differentials, but fundamentally it's the same thing. We try to meet the SLA, we try to deliver quick and accurate information and respond quickly to the customer.
So one of the things here, Avid's focused in the broadcast and professional industry. There's, I suppose, no other industries, if you like, to take away from your focus. This is what you do, isn't it?
Sorry, I didn't quite hear you then.
Sorry.
Yeah.
From the point of view of Avid, that being focused in the broadcast and professional world, the engineers come from that background and they really understand.
Yeah, so we take on board two types of people actually into our team. So most of our engineers have got 8 to 10 years of tenure with Avid, and some with more and so on. But actually, at the same time, we do take straight university graduates and in effect indoctrinate them in Avid to a degree. And we have a very good training program, the ACSR training program, which allows us to develop staff as they come through as well as customers. So an engineer can join Avid, and the first thing Avid's known for is editing, as an example. So we can train them with our own online courses and our classroom courses to be an ACSR for editing. And then the next thing is, well, let's do collaborative editing. So we add storage to it. So they do the same thing with the storage. And then the next thing is the asset management, so you add the interplay. And at the end of it, they then become a solutions guy who's used to looking at the editor, but also used to looking at ingest and play out, all within that one system environment. So, we bring people on board who are specific to Avid, but at the same time we complement those people with industry experienced staff. So, like I said, the average tenure is 8 to 10 years, I think, in the department. So there's very experienced staff. And of course, we balance that with the staff of your own. So we use the resellers as, what do I call it, park rangers is possibly a good analogy. They know the customer really well, they know what the customer's business is, they know how the equipment's being used, so we supplement that knowledge with the knowledge of the product to be able to resolve the customer's problem very quickly.
Well, certainly from our experience with Avid over the years, the ACSR training programs have worked really well for us, and we've been able to bring our teams through from being new to Avid to being experts in Avid. And whilst we're very mindful of making sure that we don't give them an information overload, we use exactly the same sort of process, and starting from the desktop editing products, getting familiar with that, move to the next level and move to the next level. And also takes a couple of years. The training pathway that Avid's provided over the years for us has been really strong, and I think actually a leader in the industry in that regard.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's about talking a language. It's a bit like teaching someone to speak Italian, because once they can speak Italian, if you speak Italian, you then talk in on the same wavelength when you're talking through a problem. So if we have all of our customers trained how we want them to be talking to us, when we ask them for information, they know what information it is that we're asking for, and so you get to the core of the problem that much quicker.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's an established program, so it's been successful for us.
So getting back to probably our independent editors, and with the Media Composer subscriptions these days, we have some different levels of support for that. So Ian, you'd be able to touch on what our average Media Composer editor gets from a support point of view with their standard support contract. What sort of things they can do for accessing the support they need.
Okay, so if you were an individual professional with Media Composer, you would have immediate access to our forum. For example, we have an editor forums with like-minded people, so you can share, and of course we have Avid experts who can contribute to that as well. But you also get a telephone access to the Avid support team, as well as you get a portal account to enter cases. We track and monitor all the dialogue that goes back and forth. You get free upgrades to the different versions whilst you're on support. So the point of being on support, if you're on support, Avid will keep you current and will allow you to have those current releases, etc. and utilize them. So that individual professional will have 24/7 coverage from Avid for support, whether it be electronic coverage or verbal coverage. They will have coverage.
Well, certainly the way the world's changed with the support contracts that Avid have, or certainly from Media Composer now with the subscription systems and things, we found it to be a really big benefit to always be up to date software-wise, and especially with operating system changes, and also with the changes in systems. We've got new camera systems coming out all the time, and the way Avid's been able to much more quickly deal with these different systems is certainly something that we've noticed over the last number of years, that clients who are using Avid are able to deal with the latest formats much faster than ever before.
Yeah, we've invested a huge amount of money in laboratories to be able to test as close as possible to customer environments. It's I don't want to oversimplify it, but it's relatively simple to test one editor in isolation. But when you go to an installation where there's 100 editors, working in conjunction with third-party items, etc., it becomes a lot more complex. So in our facility in Boston, we've got a facility which has got more than 120 clients constantly connected to it. And the way we operate it with our alliance partners, we have many of their devices also hooked into the same environment. So when you call in with an issue, we're able to use that laboratory to mimic very closely to what it is that you've got and understand the problem. The advantage with the subscription model as well that brings is by keeping people current, it means that our lab doesn't have to run 50 versions of Media Composer. It keeps the last 3 or 4 versions running on it because they're the versions that we're supporting and are current in the field. And with people being current, they're the versions the customers are running. So it's very easy and quick to go, right, you're running 8 point whatever it is, You go straight to the lab, 8 points, whatever it is there. Whereas 4 or 5 years ago, I can remember customers ringing, I've got version 5. And yes, we could support it, but somebody would have to go and build an image of version 5 and then get going. And of course that adds a delay and those sorts of things. So, but as I say, with the subscription model, you automatically get the latest version. And if you have a problem, you know that that's what we're running in our test systems to be able to help you get out of trouble.
Sure. Now, one thing I wanted to bring up here is there's always been this question about Avid qualified systems. And people go, oh, will Avid work or not, and others. And obviously the software will work on a whole range of different computers. But one really important thing here is when you talk about qualified systems, these are the ones that you're actually testing in your labs, isn't it?
Absolutely, yes. I mean, Avid would love to be able to test every single system available on the market. That's not financially possible. So we do test the main units, and obviously the units that we supply ourselves. They're tested very thoroughly, and if customers use those, you know, and configure them the way that we recommend, they work very well. You know, we do sometimes have customers come along who haven't bought an Avid customer, you know, an Avid recommended solution, but we'll still work with them to try and make it work. But the difference there is we don't have that background of QA that we've done on the machine. So it's like stepping into the unknown. Is it the graphics driver? Is it this or that? So we do recommend that people stay within that realm of qualified equipment. But we keep a list of the qualified equipment. It is extensive, and I'd be surprised if you couldn't find something that met your needs within that list.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've certainly used those qualified systems to, I suppose, in the end, make life easier for everyone.
Yeah.
When we talk about larger systems and things with our Nexus and everything, I suppose that's where we get to higher levels of support, and this is where Avid are able to come in and offer high levels of support as well for enterprises that need that extra level of reliability, I suppose, of reliability support. The product's great, it is reliable, but and that's where Avid, with local engineering support, can take that to another level as well.
Yeah, what we try to do at the higher level is support is about avoiding problems rather than, you know, there are problems that occur and you can't avoid them, they just happen, hardware fails, etc. But there are also self-induced problems that a lot of customers fall into. You know, they might be doing a maintenance overload, you know, overlook on the system. So we actually have some proactive support mechanisms to help with those. So we have a process, for example, called Code Red. So if you know that in 3 weeks' time you're going to be upgrading your Interplay environment to take on board some patches and some fixes, etc., you can talk to Avid, discuss the plan of how you're going to do it, discuss who's going to do it, exactly when it's going to be done, etc. And we will actually work with you so that we empower you to be successful. And the aim is that you do the upgrade and you don't have to call us for support. But if you do have to call us for support, we've actually got all the detail that's been discussed. We know exactly what you're doing, when you're doing, who's doing it, the qualification of those people, and therefore we can help in a proactive manner. That's kind of one of the differentiators that Avid very much does in this industry. But on top of that, we always still have on duty, you know, all the way up to level 3. So if you have a crisis, and I don't know, you've had a power outage, as be an example, and you're trying to bring stuff back up and you're struggling with a few items, you can very quickly, within an hour typically, have a developer engineer on that call alongside all the support engineers if that's what's required. You know, so the whole process is seamless and is available there to do that. And that is put in place specifically for the media enterprise accounts. You know, if you're someone like NBC doing the Olympics, you can't afford to be down, you know, no matter what. You know, so we have a very fast reactive process for that. You call in, the phone is answered, our average answer phone time is less than 2 minutes. So the call is answered, we have reps working every day, so there will be somebody skilled on that product available to start working it, and they can start gathering information, and if they feel it's going to be too difficult for them, they have the immediate ability to get a more experienced rep to come and back them up and help them out. So
great. Ian, certainly this is the level of support that we need to have in the industry, and Avid's been doing it for a long time now, and certainly from personal experience, our engineering team has been very reliant on Avid from time to time to help us out of issues, which has meant from all the years we've been working on it that we've never lost a frame of video with our storage systems, and that's a a fantastic thing to say for Avid. So certainly for anyone out there that's looking at needing more in the Avid support range, certainly feel free to contact us at Videocraft. We can take more on how we can help with support contracts and making sure that you keep the show on the road at all times. So Ian, thanks very much for your time today.
And thank you for giving me the time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.